The Second World War. The Second World War is one of the most important war conflicts in the modern history. The different implications and events within this historical process, such as the invasion of Poland, the rise of the Nazi Party, the formation of the Triple Alliance, the bombing to Pearl Harbor, and the dropping of 2 nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, will be part of the most important event in this combat. In addition to this, we must remember the great landers emanate. On the one hand, we would have the mortal enemies who put aside their difference to unite against an enemy that day by day become more powerful, magnanimous to put the wool of Europe in click. Together to this, we will see who a simple frustrated painter, magnanimous to unite an entire nation with the sole purpose of purging Europe. When and where it happened. The Second World War was an armed conflict that took place between the years 1939 and 1945, and which directly or indirectly involved most of the military and economic powers of the time, as well as many third world countries. Germany invaded Poland on September 1, 1939, and thus began World War II. In responsible betraying, and French declared war on Germany. In the following month, Germany invaded Denmark, Norway, Belgium, and the Netherlands. On June 1940, Paris, the capital of France, fell. In August of the same year, the German invasion bombed London without mercy, but they did not achieve the surrender of England. German forces invaded the Western Europe in the spring of 1940. Encouhed by the Germans, the Soviet Union occupied the Baltic states on June 1940. Italy, a member of the Axis, joined the war on June 10, 1940. Scenarios. The Second World War took place mainly in 3 different settings: the European, Asian, and African continents. In them, the troops of the 2 opposing sides, known as the Allied countries and the Axis power, faced each others, as well as the countries involved voluntary or by force in conflict that did not distinguish between military force and the civilian population. In the context of this war, highly traumatic events for human civilization occurred, such as mass death in experimentation camps and forced labor, in particular of creation of the Jewish ethnic group, which was called the Holocaust, of the use for the first time in the history of nuclear weapons of the mass destruction on a civilian population. Cause: the ambition of Adolf Hitler, Germany, Benito Mussolini, Italy, and Hirohito, Japan, for the economic and political dominance of the planet, snatching their colonies and semi-colonies for the Allied powers. In 1933, the Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler came to power in Germany, and soon after began to violate the Treaty of Versailles of 1919. He reactivated his military industry, reorganized his armed force, and Austria was annexed. Between 1938, he invaded Czechoslovakia, while Italy invaded and conquered Albania. In addition to these following sections must be mentioned: the terms of the Treaty of Versailles, the surrender of Germany, and its alliance of the end of the World War, imposed on them a Hitler opposite unconditional surrender treaty, which prevent the war-torn nation from having an army again, Western control of these African colonies, and gave it away. It imposed an unpayable debt with the victorious country. The rise of fascism. Adolf Hitler in Germany and Benito Mussolini in Italy, mainly they took advantage of popular discontent and both extremist nationalist movements seeking to recover nation glories around the militarization of broad socialist sector, the establishment of the totalitarianism, and the expansion of nation borders. Sino-Japanese tension. After the First Sino-Japanese War, Japan has become an imperial power that did not talk favorably of China and the Soviet Union. The German invasion of Poland, Germany began its territorial expansion by taking Austria and part of Czechoslovakia without major conflicts. Consequence: almost total devastation of Europe, expensive and devastating aerial bombarders of the main European cities took place, first when the Germans conquered the continent and then when the Allies liberated it, which resulted in their almost total destruction. A start of a bipolar war. The European powers, both allied and Axis, were the end of the conflict, so economic and politics weakened that the conduct of world politics passed to the two new superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, thus initiating the so-called Cold War. Germany division. When Germany was defending its territory came under the control of the Allied countries and the URSS, for which the country was divided into completely different nations, the German Federation Republic with a capitalist system and under North American control, and the German Democratic Republic with a communist system and under Soviet administration. Emerge of the new technologies today, common technologies such as television, computers, sonar, jet fighters, or atomic energy, owing their discovery to this bloody war. Decolonization. The loss of political and economic power in Europe led to the loss of the control of these colonies in the thin world, thus allowing numerous processes of independence. The death of between 55 and 70 million people, counting military and civilians. In this millions of who died so in subhuman conditions in concentration and experimentation camps. Key elements and persons. In this event, there were countless people who intervened directly so that the war took different directions. But there was one person par excellence, Adolf Hitler, at the same time when the most impressive weapon of the mass destruction, the atomic bomb. Adolf Hitler. She was born in Branham am Inu on April 20, 1889 and died in Berlin on April 30, 1945. Adolf Hitler was the top leader of the Nazi Germany since he was appointed Chancellor on 1933. Son of the Austrian Count's officer, he was the third child of his parents. The atomic bomb. a weapon of mass destruction at the end of the Second World War, launched by the Americans against the Japanese. Two of their most important cities were destroyed. The Manhattan Project is the name given to the research whose fruit will give it the atomic bomb, a weapon of mass destruction in its splendor. Reflection. The Second World War was an event that marked the entire world. The superpower had to relegate their position to new nation. This opened the way for a new system. With the fall of Nazi Germany, two new authoritarian regiments, each in their own way, have tried to control the whole world in order to have more power. That is why this war brought both negative and positive change of the world in general. While some nations took advantage of this to grow their economics, others had a change in their way of thinking, making them more human. That's all. Goodbye.